Hello and welcome to this video. My name is Zach. That's my dog Winter. And right there is the van we live in. It's a 2019 170-inch 4x4 extended Sprinter, and we take it everywhere as we travel right now the Western United States and in the future beyond. So welcome to this video. We're going to first start with Starlink, which I just got, and it's probably the title of this video. So we're going to start with going over Starlink, and then we're going to take off on an adventure. We're kind of in southwest Montana right now, near the town of Butte. In about 7 days, I have a service appointment in the town of Billings, which is about 300 miles away. So I'm going to take a detour to central Montana to show you that region as I make my way towards my service appointment and beyond. So thanks for watching. Enjoy the ride. So what is Starlink? Starlink is this satellite receiver you can see up on top of my trailer. It's put out by SpaceX, and it is satellite internet. So you order it, you pay for the equipment, which is significant. I think my first bill was like $600 just for the equipment and shipping and stuff. You get a router that has a power cord that plugs into an AC outlet, and then coming out of that router is a power cord / data cable. It's probably a 100-foot cable that goes to the antenna. The antenna is hardwired into that cable, so you can't disconnect it. So if you damage that cable, you probably are going to need a whole new antenna. So I think that's a good weak point, especially with such a long cable. People are going to feel like they should put it way out there, and then somebody will drive over it or something like that. So that's why I put it up there. It needs to have, about that much space clear. It's not a very exact science, but as long as you don't have trees overhanging it or really tall things near it, it has a really good does a really good job of getting connected. I parked under some trees, and even there I had a decent connection. By the end of the night, I let it run all night so that it could scan the obstructions. It knew where all the tree limbs were and had an estimated amount of time I would see outages or disconnects. And then it is able to reconnect really fast. It's so easy to use, it works good, and it's always quite enough for my comparison. I'll tell you what I'm coming from. So I had a cell router, which worked just like a normal router, except it connected to the cell signal on the Verizon towers and gave me up to 4G worth of speeds. If I was out in the middle of nowhere by myself with a strong cell signal, I could stream all day with mostly no problems. But cell signal is really susceptible to changing temperatures and changing systems coming through, how many particulates are in the air, distance, the pressure, all that stuff to a certain degree impacts cell signal, cloud coverage and all of that, and that does impact satellite signal too. But so there was all these factors that were always decreasing the capabilities of my cell router. So I would find very few and far between places that worked really good. Usually it was kind of towards the top of a mountain looking out across the valley, which is great for views, for what I get to see, but it's always kind of rough weather conditions. So I could never get down into valleys or into canyons and stuff, or just not at the top of mountains to get cell signal. So I was always kind of in these rough to hang out places because the weather wasn't great, but I could at least get connected. And then when I go out of service, there'd always be things, since everything is online, there'd be things that we wouldn't be able to get. So along with that, I think it was a $300 router I had to buy. I also got a $500 cell phone booster so that I could get stronger signal more often. And I will say probably about 60 to 70% of the time I had a good spot, but I couldn't come back to areas like this big, beautiful valley I have essentially to myself, except this road behind me is pretty busy. I actually have to keep pausing my recording and letting side-by-sides and quads go by, and a lot of these guys are rentals, so they're driving really slow. And this valley is really cool because I can hear everything going on around it. If there's dirt bikes up there, I can hear them. I can hear people. I can basically look at Google Maps and figure out which road they're on traveling around me. It's pretty cool. And then if they're in the far end of the valley, I can actually see their dust rising up through the trees. Most of the time, all I can hear is, the wind, wildlife and stuff. It's a really private and quiet area, and most importantly, no cell signal, which usually gets everybody that's depending on cell signal to stay connected. You don't see those people in these areas. So a lot of times if I wanted to be truly alone, I'd have to go out where there's no cell signal because it's not convenient for modern humans to be without it. Now I can do that, but I can also stay connected. So I have advantages and none of the disadvantages that the cell router provided me. And on top of that, the cell per month is actually more expensive. So to get a lower quality connection, I had to spend about $800 in equipment, and still it's not as good as the $600 in equipment I spent on this and the $15 a month I'm going to save for subscription fees. So this equipment will pay for itself in, I think I said 20 months on my Instagram story, but it's actually going to be 40 months. So to summarize, and would I recommend it? I definitely recommend it over a cell router solution, and I definitely recommend it over being stuck in a house somewhere. So being able to have everything updated all the time, I don't have to think twice about data. I didn't have a data cap on my cell router, but it didn't always work. So I had to consider my phone, which I think it was 30 gigs, before I would get slowed down, which can be kind of catastrophic when I depend on just my cell signal. So I don't have to worry about being slowed down. And really the only negatives I see is the antenna is kind of a clunky system. There's no way to leave it on top of the vehicle. It's just too big. You'd have to build a mount that you'd have to manually fold down or make some sort of actuator that folds it down for you, because I think any strike from rocks or birds or trees or whatever else I hit with the top of my van would definitely break the antenna. I don't want to put it on top of my trailer because the trailer gets thrown around a lot and I don't want it to deal with that extra wear. I also mentioned the cord. The cord is also a point of failure, and I'm not a big fan of that. I wish it would disconnect from the antenna, because then I don't have to route the whole antenna with the cord if I want to put it through something, because then I could put the cord out through one of my side windows or even through a different access hatch that's smaller. Instead, any door that I move it through, I either have to unplug it from the router, which the router is not hard mounted, but it's in somewhere that's hard to route the cable to, or I have to route the whole antenna, and my antenna won't fit out of one of these side windows, which are about that big. So it has to come out of the back of the van every time. So I think that kind of adds a large degree of inefficiency for me. It's a huge improvement to my life, quality of life. I'm a modern human again. I have my own signal. I have to set it up every time I stop, but it sets up really fast. Usually what I do is I pull up to an area and then I set it up when I know exactly where I'm going to park, and then I'll level out the van after that. And by the time I level it, it'll be fully connected, and I can literally level it, go down, sit down, and start streaming video if I want to watch that. So it works really good. It's pretty efficient. This base is really good too. I forgot to mention that. The base, I've had it in probably 30 knots of wind, or 30, 35 mile an hour winds, and it hasn't toppled, hasn't fallen over. I've had it in the stowed position in those winds, and I've had it working in those, connected in those winds, and I've had no issues whatsoever. So I'm truly impressed with the fit and finish of the antenna, the fit and finish of the router. The cable solution is not my favorite, but they can always improve on that down the road. The antenna is not my favorite because I think it should be able to be mounted hard on top of the roof, and I also think you should be able to plug it in to a DC plug rather than into an AC plug, which requires the inverter to be on. And inverters use power just by being on, just by converting the energy. So it's best to have everything operate through the DC system. It's much more efficient if you're operating off of batteries to not convert it to AC. And oftentimes it's back to DC. Like anything with a battery is getting converted back to DC by its AC plug unit. So having said that, that's what I think of Starlink. I've had it for just under a week now. It's excellent. If you're considering getting it and it's within your budget range, I highly recommend it. It's a huge quality of life improvement, and you feel a lot less disconnected, and you're able to work and do all those things from basically anywhere. It's a pretty incredible system. I look forward to seeing what I can build in the future having this connection. So with that, we're going to get moving, and I will see you down the road.
the devil run. I gave him poison just for fun. I had one friend, now there's none. I made the devil run. I broke so many bones, but none of them were ever my own. They were an army, I was alone. I broke so many bones.
All right, so I got the van all packed out and ready to go. We just have to get off the levelers and put them away.
Not saying anything, I saw it in your eyes. That look that's on your face, I read between the lines. I try to say it 'cause you hate it when I can't decide. So when you go, you need to know that I'll be right behind. Far away from here, I could be finding other reasons, but I need away from here, where we could finally make it, you and I. On top of everything, I waited all this time. I would give anything to know I'm on your mind. I try to say it 'cause you hate it when I can't decide. So when you go, you need to know that I'll be right behind. Far away from here, I could be finding other reasons, but I need away from here, where we can finally make it, you and I. Where we can finally make it, you and I. Where we can finally make it, you and I. It's never too late. It's never too late. Please just say for me to come home. It's never too late. It's never too late. All the things you said for me to come from here. I could be finding other reasons, but I need away.
Keep the battery back up. Woohoo! There we go, perfect. Whoo, yeah. What do you think, Winnie? Got a side-by-side behind me, but I'm not stopping on this hill. I'll be off the hill here soon, I think, and I'll be able to let him by, or her. Main goal is not to have a head-on with one of those guys. One, it'll damage my van, and two, they will lose.
I could be finding other reasons, but I need away from here, where we can finally make it, you and I.
Might have to pull it out of low range. I don't think I have any more crazy hills to get up. Except this one I gotta get down. This stuff's shady because there's basically a mandatory lean involved. and welcome back. We just got to a little rest area that's free camping. It's kind of weird. It's got like random picnic tables and covered picnic areas, and you can basically just park somewhere on the grass and camp there for up to 10 days for free, which is really cool. Seems like there's quite a few people that stay there for quite a while, which is kind of odd, but everybody looks friendly, no crazy vehicles, and it's free for the night. So we're gonna stay here overnight. I tried to get up into the mountains nearby, and lo and behold, they were full. Like, the campground was full, every area on the side of the road was full. There's a lot of people up there, but we're basically in the plains land. It's fairly flat around me, no crazy peaks. Plains of Montana, absolutely beautiful. Huge thunderstorm behind me right now. I'm just trying to satisfy Winnie. Oh, it looks like we're at the edge of the airport on this nice little walkway. You can find me. There you go. You're back. Winter, come here. Hi, Winnie. Let's get you off leash here. All right, go. Go. Go on. There we go. That's a happy girl. But I just wanted to check in with you. We drove for hours, probably across about 6 counties in Montana. Went from near Butte through Helena and drove all the way out to, we're somewhere near Lewiston. I think it's Lewistown out here. We're gonna get some sleep tonight. I'm gonna rest and do some streaming because I have the lovely new device on my roof. Hello, welcome back. So we are in the Missouri Breaks area. So what that is just like a basically huge drainage area for the plains to drain down into the Missouri River. And it's kind of where the main body of the river is flowing. But this is a really beautiful area. When you get out into the plains, everything kind of becomes more of a relief rather than a, mountainous area where everything goes up rather than down. And so it's all drainage and water flow that really kind of created this landscape, and it's beautiful, and I love driving around it. The exciting part is it was a state highway that's basically just a muddy road right now. It's well built, so you just have a layer of mud on it, but it definitely covered my trailer with mud. Oh, these tires are working out though. They get rid of the mud really good compared to the other ones I had. And then these tires work really good. They get rid of all the mud. See, there's nothing in there. You just kick it all out. Wonderful. That's gross. And look at how much chunk I took out of that. Wow. Not too bad here though. Pretty grimy there. And I got down to the campground down here and it's just plumb full of people. Not really an ideal situation for me. It's like $12 a night, which is just too expensive to just be around a lot of other people. So I got to go all the way back the way I came, get back to a small town not too far from here, and then I'm going to loop around and try to get up to an area that's going to be a little bit more fruitful for boondocking sites, hopefully. Out here it's all private land with some kind of BLM land and like state land kind of put in there for recreation and stuff. But it's a big area with not a huge population, so there's not a lot of areas, and right now everybody's so excited to get out and away from the cold and the heat or whatever temperatures are getting away from. So it's very crowded right now this time in the spring, since the weather's just starting to turn around a little bit. So I got to move on. I'm going to see if I can find somewhere a little bit more conducive to what I want, and we'll pick you up down the road. Well, I got skunked. It doesn't happen very often, and it usually doesn't happen so spectacularly as that was. Almost 120-mile round trip, about 116.6 miles round trip just to go all the way up to the Missouri, realize that the campground was too full, and drive all the way back and end up right where I started at this free, all the cars go by right as I'm talking, this free campground slash rest area where you can camp for up to 10 days for free. And it looks like it has water and bathrooms and garbages as well, so it's pretty sweet. And really nice to have this opportunity for free, but there's not much else out here that I'm finding. So tonight I'm going to do some research. I'm going to go to bed early instead of like 2 a.m. For some reason last night I couldn't sleep very good and didn't even notice what time it was until it was pretty late. So I'm going to try to get some extra sleep tonight. After doing some research, having a good dinner, and then we're going to try again tomorrow and see if I can find a cool place to stay overnight. It's Sunday, tomorrow will be Monday, and on Saturday in Billings I have somewhere, or I'm going to get the van serviced, which is really the main reason I didn't go further north, because there's more I want to see further north, but by the time I got all the way up there, I really realized that I was just going to be traveling further away from Billings, which was just going to cost me more in fuel. So I'm going to look kind of in the Billings direction, maybe not even travel too far tomorrow, just to find a nicer spot to stay overnight, somewhere nice and cool to show you, and try to do a little bit of explore tomorrow as well. So I'm going to get going on my research, get some food going, and then get some sleep, and we'll see you tomorrow. So I got myself in an interesting spot here. I decided to go up another road, knowing this one was dirt, and I didn't realize my lights were on, but there's some big storms overhead. Let's see if it'll pick them up. There's some dark clouds. They're getting darker as time goes on. And I don't want one of those to open up here. But I have this lovely little pasture that I'm in. Bureau of Land Management land with some cows. The herd's coming together. This is not what I want to be in. This mud is just packing into my tires really bad. It's really tacky. Even my front tire is just packed. So I got to get off of this road before it rains because it's just going to get worse. But it was kind of fun to come up here and see these cows. There was something I wanted to check out up here, but I'll have to save it for the dry season. Maybe I'll be out this way again. But this road is just too shady. It was not fun turning around. But oh my God, this is awesome. Check this out. Just a line of baby cows watching me. Hi there. Hi little guys. Hi little guys. Waiting to see what I do. I don't know if I want to go closer or not. I don't think Mama would appreciate it. See what they do though if I do it. Hi baby cows. Mama doesn't care. She's just chewing. Bye guys. See you later. Well, this spot is super awesome and it's a great find. I'm glad I came all the way up that road to find it, and yeah, quite simply, I'm glad I came up that road to find it, and it's very beautiful and well worth my time to come out here. We're right on the part that used to be part of Fort Peck Lake, but it's since dried out. That might be a prairie dog. It's definitely bigger than your standard ground squirrel. But you can see I got a camera set up there, the van's parked right along what used to be the water. I even got a tree, and I'm looking at those beautiful painted hills behind me. Absolutely stunning. We're probably gonna spend at least a couple of nights here. The Starlink's all connected, and I have a ginormous storm off behind me, and it actually started right over where I'm at here and then moved that way and really blew up. Looks like looks like this road should be okay. It's gravel all the way until I pull off, so it's gravel right here, and then we got all this space right there. Go, rat. Oh, hard life. Hard life, hard life, hard life. Yeah. There's a good spot. There's a good spot. All right, let's go. Go on. All right, let's go. Come on. Let's go. Go on. Come on, we're going. Go on. All right, so yeah, I think we'll stay here. It's a beautiful view, exciting weather, low chance of flooding, other people around, so it's legit, which is always nice. No people around me. The only complaint I have is this little roundabout here has 2 other campsites at it, and I would prefer not to have somebody go to one of those because it'd be pretty disruptive, since I like to let Winnie out to just do her thing. But that's the cost of living in a world with other people in it. So the chances are they may come down here, and then there's actually other spots that nobody else can park next to. I just like this one because it's the furthest away. So if I wanted to, I could have a spot that's alone by itself. But I wanted to have a wide view, access to at least the mud flats, and a view of the hills and stuff and everything around, so that I can see what's coming weather-wise and I'm not down in a little canyon. There's quite a few of those little spots that are down there that I wouldn't want to go into. But this one is beautiful, really good view off on our own. I just have to look at the road over there, but other than that, it's perfect. But I'm starting to get drizzled on, so I'm actually going to relax and hunker down for the night. It's been a busy few days. I haven't really gotten a lot of rest and done a lot of driving. So it's nice to finally have some fruits from those labors. So we're gonna settle in for the night, let these storms blow over, enjoy the storms, and then we'll go on a nice little adventure enjoying this new spot that we got to. So we'll see you in the morning.
When we were younger, you started on with a look you gave, spread over and over among us. When we were younger, when we were younger, I had in mind to keep an eye on you. Watch you fill the room without a whisper. When we were younger, and I held my breath, and like it was my last one, but you stayed there right in front of us. You stayed there right in front of us.
Good evening. It's all the way back around to the next day. We decided to just rest for the day. Well, I decided. Winnie does whatever I want her to do. Just hung out, enjoyed the weather. It was nice and warm, but very windy all day today. And the wind just died down this evening. So Winnie and I are gonna go out for a short walk, kind of around that way on the lake. The full side is that way. If we go this way, I think we may be able to go explore some interesting territory. Just going to be a short walk since the sun is going down right now, but it's absolutely stunning outside, and I think you're going to really like what we find. Ow. All right, so this is the PEX reservoir. I'm kind of at a distant arm, kind of by the dry arm portion of the reservoir. This little arm that I'm at lives up to the reputation of being actually dry, but by my understanding, dry arm was a former route of the Missouri or another river that was dry at the time the PEX Dam was made and the reservoir was created. It's my basic understanding of it. And so before it flooded, there was no water here. And then once the dam was built, it became water in this area once more. So these badlands that kind of surround it with all the pretty colors are one of the best kept secrets in Montana, if you ask me. They're pretty much endless, beautiful badlands with all kinds of stunning colors. They don't really exist everywhere, but when you're driving along and they pop out of nowhere, it's pretty surprising. It looks like Winnie caught up. So we're actually walking towards the water rather than away from it, like I said. There's this beautiful pattern that the water has created in this dry lake bed that I couldn't see until I got the drone up, and it's absolutely beautiful. Had a really good time taking pictures of it and flying over it, and kind of a stunning creation after all the water went away. But I kind of chose this section because there's nobody over here trying to fish, nobody camping. It's just me and Winnie. I can vaguely hear some people talking occasionally, but that could just be voices on the wind. I don't know if you can hear it, but there's a killdeer over there trying to distract me away from its nest that I can't even see. There's been meadowlarks singing all day and all night, it seems like. All morning, all evening, there's always a meadowlark somewhere. And then I'm right next to the tree, and meadowlarks love to get on top of trees. They usually get on top of the tallest thing they can find, and then they sing their song of love to their potential mates, I think. The western meadowlark is also the state bird of 5 different states, Montana included, and by far one of my favorite birds. You always know when spring is coming because the meadowlark comes out and starts singing away, and they are always a welcome sight in Montana after a long cold winter. It's so nice to finally relax. I've been getting skunked pretty good lately. Not a lot of great spots out in eastern Montana. Most of it's private land, and there's not enough people for a lot of recreation sites to have been created. So with that unfortunate fact, it's made traveling and exploring around here kind of a day job rather than a day and night job. I don't get to really sleep in beautiful places. I generally sleep with a bunch of other people around at like rest areas or Haven't done a Walmart yet, but similar, like truck stops and whatnot. And out here, there's dozens of campsites and they're all empty, except for I think I saw probably about 6 different camps. Not a lot of people drive all the way out here, and there's not a large population center for people to come out here. What was that? That was a big creature that just hit me in the face. There's all kinds of bugs out here. Lots of birds, lots of killdeer out here yelling at me. And it's nice to find somewhere with some peace. I haven't had peace in a long time. I've been just busy getting stuff, and now I'm just waiting for my service appointment here in a few days. And once that comes up, I'm gonna go get serviced, and then the next adventure starts. I think we saw our final last gasp of the cold weather. The weather out here, at least in the plains, I came down here just to get out of the cold mountains, because the mountains, the wind was gonna blow and then it was gonna get below freezing or close to freezing at night, and I elected to get away from that and move out into the plains since I had to come out here anyways. That yearly battle between summer and winter, I think summer's getting the upper hand finally. That was a pretty extreme storm that I got to go through last night, and it's been a really weird system. I basically just had a low pressure system flow right over the top of me over the past day or so, and it's been almost constant. I've been dodging weather for basically since my last video came out. I've been dodging weather. I posted that video and it did really good. It's really nice and confidence building to have a video go really well or do really well when it was one where I was like, okay, I'm gonna do exactly what I want for this video. I'm just gonna do me and then I'll go from there. And I did that, and it was one of my best videos, or definitely my fastest growing video. So that really excites me and pushes me to do a little bit more. So I'm gonna keep pushing, and the next adventure should be more exciting than this one, hopefully, or less exciting. There's a lot of different types of adventures. For me, I do spend a lot of time looking for spots like this. It might seem like I just go and every day I find a beautiful spot. Sometimes it's like that. Sometimes it does that for a week, maybe 2, especially if I stay overnight in a couple places and do research before I go. But most of the time, I'm just scratching. I'm scratching, trying to find a good place to stay. And as soon as I find that place, I'll stay for 2 or 3 days and then I'll move on. I really appreciate you watching the video. We're gonna go relax for a few days, go get that service appointment done, and then it's time for another adventure, and we will see you down the road.
This before, and reminds me what I've been missing. Every memory, evermore, here reminding what I've been missing. Oh, you are what I've been missing. I knew it all. When I saw you for the first time, when I saw you for the first time.
Thank you.